And welcome back to the Canadian Women in Oceans Industry Leadership Conference. This is the Diversity in the Blue Economy podcast, and I want to tell you what a great time we're having. I am with Gale Force Winds, my good buddy Jerry Carew, and my co-host Kelly. They're not in this frame today, but I'm certainly excited to be in this conversation. Stephanie, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
So my name is Stephanie Evans, and I am part of the Raven Kaster relaunch project.
Okay, Stephanie, you're going to have to unpack that in a second, but tell me a little bit more about you. You didn't start on that, so how did you get to that?
So, kind of in grade 8, I and my co-leader, we'll call it Kaitlyn, we were just chilling in grade 8 in my technology class, and my technology teacher, Thomas Shepard, said to us, hey, there's this outreach program by Marine Institute, and what you do is you make a 90-second video about ocean climate change and how it affects everything and whatever. And the prize was the opportunity to sail an 8-foot-long mini boat. It was unmanned. All it had was a cargo hold and a sail. You just dropped it in the ocean and hoped for the best. And me and Kaitlyn were like, sure, why not? Because we were just kids and whatever. Launched it in November of 2018, landed in Achill Island in February of 2019, so it wasn't very long. And then since then, it's been media, like press, and like now we're planning on going back to Ireland. We're going to Ireland to get our boat, fix it up, and send it back over.
And this was all sponsored by whom?
No one. No. For the first couple of years, it was just me and Kaitlyn and the school. Recently, with the actual relaunch project that we started about a year ago, we've had some big sponsors, like off the top of my head, I can think of Genoa, especially with the shout out that Gina gave us, which was amazing. Andrea Goss with the CBS Council, she's been a really big help getting us connections and stuff like that. As well as like the town of CBS. They've been very helpful, like giving us venues, putting us in contact with support and stuff like that.
Wow. Yeah. So people started to see some things happening there, leaned into it, and you get Gina Pico on your side, you're in a good spot.
Yes.
For sure, eh? Yeah. So what are you studying now? What are you involved in?
So with, I was planning on doing ocean sciences in MUN, but I found a really big interest in the earth sciences section of it, like geology and like sonar and stuff. I was like really interested in it. So now I'm trying to get more into like bottom of the ocean instead of like marine life and stuff like that, which is like the least explored part is the bottom. So.
Right, so seabed survey, things like that?
Yeah.
And even deeper than seabed survey, maybe?
Maybe.
There's a couple of good companies right here in Newfoundland that do that kind of work. Kraken Robotics comes to mind.
Oh yeah.
Pangeo, there's a couple. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they'd be very interested in having a chat with somebody like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's very cool. So what brought you to this conference? What interests you about this conference?
So it was because it was Canadian Women in Ocean Sciences, which is myself and Kaitlyn. We were sponsored by Deep Sense. They paid for our tickets to come here for the 2-day conference. And it was an excellent opportunity. I've been enjoying myself very much. Me and Kaitlyn have been taking silly pictures all day.
Right.
Just like meeting everybody. And one thing I feel like a broken record at this point, but I've been saying it feels so comfortable being in a place where it's women.
Right.
Because a lot of times, especially when it's like a woman in a science career, a lot of times you're almost questioned if you actually have that,
right.
You know what you're talking about. And when it's just a bunch of women who are into the same thing, no one questions it because it's like, oh, well, you know, if you're here, you must be able to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There must be an incredible group of mentors in that room to you, some that they're not your mentors yet, but probably will be in the fullness of time. That must feel great.
It does, especially with like Gina. Like I met her officially. We went to take a picture with Genoa because they had donated money for us. And she said herself, I'll give you guys a personal donation because I really like what you guys are doing. And she did, which I'd say shocking, but it was just like, amazing because it was like this. She actually supports us. Like she wants us to do this, and that's a really big thing for me.
Yeah, there's a whole difference between a corporate donation, which is great, that your corporation donate, but when you personally say, I really believe in you, that's a whole thing, different thing.
It was a whole, like seeing her name pop up, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe she just gave us something we can get there, you know?
Were you talking to Gina here today?
I haven't been, because every time I go to see her, she's busy, and I'm gonna I'm gonna thank her very much, because we've been approached by like 4 or 5 different people now asking for ways to donate to the project, so I give her a big thank you for that.
Well, of course. I mean, that's so cool. I mean, on that note, why don't we record how you feel about Gina Pecor? Tell me about that. Like, because Gina Pecor is a real leader in this sector, in this room, in this industry, in this country, and I would argue globally. So, what would you say to Gina for that donation and for being that mentor?
Well, like, just a big thank you. You're showing me that it's possible. Like, I can get up there, and it's something that, like, people, and they obviously don't mean me wrong, I don't think, but it's a lot of things where it's like, are you sure you want to do that? I don't know if you're good for that. And it's like, she's like living, breathing proof that I can get up there and I can lead, you know? Yeah.
So what's on the horizon, to use a nautical term, that we're here? So what's over the horizon for you?
Well, in August, we have bought the tickets to go to Ireland, myself and Kaitlyn, so that's official. We're going over there. The boat is getting fixed by students in Achill Island right now, so we're definitely going there. And then I don't know what's going to happen after that, because we have a couple events planned in Ireland with the Galway Atlantiquaria. After closing, we're having like a little event, like a meet and greet type thing. And then we're hopefully trying to send our boat back over, and then maybe that's the end, maybe it's a new beginning. I don't know yet.
Right, you're just open to anything at this point.
Yep, pretty much.
So outside of the people in this room, the women that are in this industry, what are your other inspirations in life? Who's kind of got you to this point?
It's, that's a good question. I want to say, as cliche as it is, my mom is a big thing, because she's like, she's kind of humble when it comes to stuff like this, but she's very like, worst term ever, but she's very loud and she's outspoken and she's a leader she works at the credit union, and she has taught me, like, don't just like lay low and don't just be like, what's the word, like almost like subservient. She goes, you need to take action and you need to get out there and do it yourself. And I feel like she's definitely given me the power to like come to places like this and be able to talk to people and not feel like excruciatingly nervous or like I don't belong.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you don't seem nervous, and you clearly belong. So shout out to Mom, that works. Yeah. That's great. Well, thanks very much for being on the show. We certainly wish you the most success, and it seems to me like you're on an amazing trajectory for that success. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.